once you get into like the training and the activities, you're fine. You've just got to give it time.
Like if you want to go to Canada, no better people to go with, really, is there?
Exactly. Think ahead a little bit, because you don't want to spend all your money during the summer and then you can't do a tour.
No one's forced into doing it. If you have to leave at a certain time, you absolutely can. But again, opportunity, if it's there, if you want to.
All the like internal domestic flights as well, it's so easy to get about. Like you could be West Coast for a week, then come down to the south, go like you could go anywhere super easily.
I think you can probably afford a better setup,
probably,
to be honest.
Yeah, but you got to start somewhere.
Well, that's it. And
I'm seeing next like neon lights with camp leaders.
Oh, Byron, there we go.
That's what,
season 2.
Yeah, season 2 neon
First
lights.
Suggestion out the budget is neon lights.
That's what I mean, yeah.
It's dead American though, as well, isn't it? Like an
True.
American diner type of style and everything like that.
How cool would your podcast be if it was set in a diner?
Well,
you've watched Chicken Shop Day, right?
Yeah, we've said stuff like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like we even chatted to Pins in Liverpool, and they've got that summer camp theme on at the moment.
You said,
So we want to kind of just get up there and just film one on that, like with everything in the background and stuff. But yeah, like you said, the setup's the setup for now, isn't it? Type of thing. But we'll have to get the
it's okay.
We'll have to get the camp leaders, but the Camp Canada branding up as well, which would be good. Which is probably a good segue into starting, actually, because first off, Lizzie, thanks very much
for having me,
popping along. For anyone listening that doesn't know you or hasn't spoken to you just yet, do you want to give us just a bit of a background on just who you are, who you're currently working for? Because obviously it's not under camp leaders, is it? So, and then, just what camp you went to as well previously.
Yeah, so I'm working as a marketing coordinator for Camp Canada, so a bit of everything online and offline. But myself, I went to camp in America through camp leaders actually, and it was called Camp Vega in Maine.
Oh, in Maine, was it?
Yeah, for 4 summers.
Oh, I like genuinely, even though I know you, I didn't know you even went for 4 summers. Why? What was it that kept you going back?
The kids number one, so I had the same campers every single summer, so kind of grew up with them, and the friends I met, so my friends returned from all over the world, so America, Australia, so it was just like our common place to then see each other.
The fact you had the same kids as well is cool. Like when I went, and then thinking, it'd be amazing to kind of go through this journey kind of with them and stuff. And then you get to you keep in touch and everything like that. That was cool. And did you say like all the staff that you worked with kept going back as well? So I'm guessing you're quite close mates now. Like,
yeah, they're like my best friends. Some of them didn't, like year 3, year 4, but then you make new friends every year and every summer's different. So by the end of it, I've got a real mix of friends.
That's boss.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, so Camp Canada, so for people that don't know, Camp Leaders and Camp Canada come under the sort of same family of cultural exchange businesses from smaller earth. Just tell us a bit about Camp Canada for those that don't know. Is it very similar to Camp Leaders? Is it that same type of application process, how you go to summer camp, all of that?
It's pretty much the same, exactly the same process. It is just a different country. Canada over America, but application all online, everything's included in the cost. They help you get your work permit, which is the equivalent of a visa for America, and then you head out there. You have support throughout the whole summer with Camp Canada as well, so it is pretty much the same, just a different country.
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing, isn't it? Camp Canada's been going for 20 plus years, main sort of name in the industry and stuff, so it's like if you want to go to Canada, no better people to go with, really, is there?
Exactly, they are the originals, so go with them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was going to say the one thing which was cool, which you mentioned, was that your experience at camp was in America, so I probably want to pick your brain a bit about that and stuff, and give us just a bit of a feel, especially what that first summer was like for you at camp, because I think everyone's has a sort of different experience, but you've went back 4 times, so you clearly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it. But I remember like my first few days, I did not love it. I did not love it at all. I remember ringing my mum. I was so upset. I was like, I can't do this. This isn't for me. She was like, no, just stick it out. Like, you'll be fine. And it was because like I was really scared to make friends and I was a bit shy, but And then after a few days, I just fell in love with it. And then she never heard from me again all summer.
And it gets like that, doesn't it? You kind
Yeah.
of talk in the beginning when you need to, but yeah, you've got that jet lag, haven't you? And
Yeah.
it hits you, and it's a whole new environment and stuff like that. And like, how long did it take you to kind of get into the swing of things?
I would say like 3 days
Yeah.
maximum, because you're like straight into orientation and staff training.
Yeah.
So you meet people really quickly. But I arrived, it was really late, it was dark, you couldn't really see much.
Yeah.
So you're a bit unsettled. But then the next day, it was like fine.
Yeah.
I was just a bit nervous to meet people because like returners all know each other. That's one of the things. So like everyone kind of, some people know each other, some people don't. But with once you get into like the training and the activities,
Yeah.
you're fine. You've just got to give it time.
It's yeah, and it is that, isn't it? It's funny. I've asked that, and I haven't. It's almost like naturally the conversation goes into that way. But I've asked everyone the same thing, and everyone has said, "Yeah, do you know those first few days? They were tough. Like
Yeah.
you're knackered, you do have jet lag, the adrenaline wears off a bit, but then you're non-stop, aren't you? After that,
Literally nonstop, yeah. But everyone's in the same boat,
Exactly.
and it is fine. You've just got to get through the first nervous feelings.
definitely. And then you've got all the icebreakers and stuff, haven't you? That come and the staff training week, and then as soon as the kids are there, you kind of forget about everything else, don't you?
Yeah.
It's just straight into it.
Exactly.
Amazing. Well, one thing I did want to kind of chat about is the fact that camp is incredible. We don't need to talk even too much about that because I think everyone knows, and you've gone back 4 years,
Yeah.
so there's an obvious sign. But when it comes to people thinking towards what they're going to do after camp, I think it's one which probably came into my mind maybe July, as we're filming this now, because there's loads of different things and people have different worries and everything. What was it that you done after camp, and how did that kind of come around?
So my first summer, every summer I did something a little bit different, but my first summer I ended up doing road trips.
Nice.
First the East Coast, then we flew to the West, did a West Coast, and then I came home. But I think, to be honest, I was a bit later than you, even thinking about it. It was definitely July, but
Yeah.
mid to late July, I would say. I didn't really think too much about it. I just knew I wanted to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Because you get caught up in camp, don't you? Like the first part of it, you've got training and getting over that homesickness and everything like that. Then the kids arrive, it's chaos. You don't have a minute to think. And then you suddenly go, wow, okay, I've actually only got 4 or 5 weeks left, something. And then you start planning from there. Did those conversations kind of come up naturally when you were in camp as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like I had friends like that were also international, so
Yeah.
like we all kind of knew we wanted to travel. We'd speak about where we'd want to go, but we didn't like book anything straight away.
Yeah.
But we definitely talked about it, and that group kind of changed a bit. Like people then decided, oh no, I want to do different things. So it was a bit chop and change,
Yeah.
but fine.
Did you find it's interesting you say that chop and change, because that exactly happened. That happened exactly as it did in ours as well, where in the beginning some people would suggest, oh, we're going to do this, and some other people suggest, oh, we're going to fly to Florida and go to Disney and stuff like that. Do you feel that you were kind of grouped around certain friendship groups, or was it that there was ideas and then you went, oh, I'd like to do this or that? How quite did it
Ours
work?
was ideas.
Yeah.
So we had a real mix, to be
Yeah.
fair. There was 6 of us. And I would say one was one of my closest friends at camp, and then the rest I was just like friends with.
Yeah.
And we all just grouped together because we wanted to go to the same places. Other people stuck with their friends and did what they wanted to do. But yeah, we were like, we want to go here, so let's all go together.
Nice.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the same for most camps as well. And if anything, that's one thing which comes up a lot. I remember even when I'll be on the phones and chatting to people, and they go, oh, well, what about after camp? And then they'd say, oh, what happens if I don't meet people? Or what happens about this? And it's so hard, because I'm a planner as well, but it's so hard to kind of be like, nah, trust the process. You will meet people, and you do, don't you?
100%. I couldn't agree more. Like, you've just got to go. Like, you will meet people at camp that want to do the same things, that want to travel after camp. Like, when I speak to people as well, I'm just like, just book your flight for later. Like, you will meet people who want to do the same. Like, that's part of like the reasons for going to camp as well, is you get to travel, right? So everyone will want to do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
In fact, you mentioned about flights, and that's probably even something I should have wrote down to ask about actually. So did you book a one way and then you were like, right, I'll wing it, but based on what your travel after camp's going to be, was it?
My first year, I just booked 30 days later because I knew I
Nice.
had 30 days
You're
on
like,
the
I'm
visa.
staying 30 days no
Literally,
matter what.
I'm not coming home till I have to.
Definitely.
So I just booked it for later, and I thought if I need to change it, I can change it. Like nothing's set in stone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can change it. So I just booked it for later, and then thought I will fill it somehow. Like other years, like I booked it a bit earlier, and again, I kind of just made plans that fitted in it.
Yeah.
That was my way of going about it. But
yeah, my first season when I went, that was kind of what I'd done. I had booked 3 weeks after, I
Yeah.
think it was, and yeah, I changed it. I just changed it. I know when I was there, I was like, right, I'm gonna have to give myself the extra time and
Yeah.
stuff. And I was actually, when I went, it was between second and third year of university.
yeah,
So for me, the thought of going back and doing assignments or staying in America, it was an easy
Easy
decision.
choice.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So with that one, when people are sort of planning to come along and stuff, would your suggestion just to kind of like go with the flow? You're going to meet people, you're going to come up with plans that will just happen naturally. So genuinely just trust it.
Trust the process. And if anything, I think don't go with any ideas of like, or any plans like, I want to go here, because then I think maybe you can get stuck in like, oh, I want to do this. And then you might miss out on something else. So I just say to like people that I've talked to, just go with no plans, like maybe have some ideas of where you'd like to visit. So then if people ask, like you can say like, oh, I'd really love to go here, or what about this place? But I think just nothing is better.
Do you know what? That's a really good thought, because I'm looking now at what I done after camp, and I wouldn't have planned that before.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, like some of the travels and the journeys I went on. So actually saying, yeah, just in fact, keep an open mind.
Totally. Yeah.
I love
Open
it.
mind, and then just see what happens, because someone might suggest something as well, which happened to me that you'd never even thought of, heard of. And if you've kind of got that stuck in something like, or booked something like in advance by yourself or whatever, like you don't know, it might need to change. So just a blank slate, I think, is a good idea.
Yeah, I love it. And is that also kind of, again, going off on a bit of a tangent, but is that kind of similar for the likes of your days off and stuff as well? Like I didn't get to Maine, so I don't know much about it, but I'm guessing prior to going, did you?
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's the same.
I don't, no idea. I didn't even know where it was in America.
Yeah.
I had to Google it, and then I was like, okay, this looks cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no idea.
And then once you've then had the days off, and I'm guessing returners kind of went, oh, you want to go here or go there. I'm guessing you ended up seeing quite a bit of Maine after, even during the time at camp, was it?
Yeah, I've seen loads of it. And you're right. Like first year we did loads of cool activities, and we would then recommend that to other people in later years, or we'd even do it ourselves again. But yeah, we would, again, with days off, kind of, we might have ideas or plan it in the week before, but never like too far in advance. But we also had to do a little bit of planning, because like we'd book Airbnbs or like to stay away for the night. So it was a bit of a mixture really, but so easy to do whilst you're at camp. Like don't stress about it as well, because you'll be able to figure it out there. You'll have time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's fine.
Do you know, that's an interesting one actually. And again, it's something I probably should ask about, was the fact that obviously when you're at camp, you're working with the kids, that comes first, but you do have your downtime.
Yeah, totally.
You've got the chance to connect to the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. It's not like you've got no signal and you're writing letters, is it? It's you've got the opportunity to start coming up with ideas.
Yeah, exactly. In like, we had like periods off in the day. So like even in the day, in the evening, you will have time to go and research things or book things. Like you definitely don't need to panic about that. And same for like traveling after camp, like you'll have time. You will.
Yeah, it does. It comes up, doesn't it? And you sometimes you have to make that time as well. I find it quite funny. Like there's times when people make a suggestion, and then suddenly everyone was camped around the reception on the Wi-Fi, kind of going, "Oh, that looks boss."
Yeah,
and that's something I want to do.
Yeah,
and that will be for both the same for the days off and after camp as well, isn't it? Talking about after camp, I don't know what it was like in yours, but we had, I think we called it post camp or after camp.
Yeah,
or even family camp, some call it, where your main contract is finished and you can leave then if you want. However, you could stay and you could work this extra week, 2 weeks, where families come along just to see if this is the camp they want to send their kids to next summer. Did you have something like that?
Yeah, we had post camp. I
Post-camp,
did
yeah.
it my second year. We just had we had a religious camp come for a week, and then we had a Brazilian jiu-jitsu camp.
Wow. Okay.
So
I mean,
random.
talk
but
about two different
yeah, literally.
areas altogether.
So they then came, they just like took over camp, and then we would run the activities for them. So yeah, they were all like adults. The religious camp was children as well, but yeah, we did that. That was really fun, to be honest with you, actually, to see like different people around camp, because you're just used to the kids, and it is a little bit weird, but it's also fun to get involved with.
Yeah, definitely. Is it like, I'm asking, and I'll give my opinion after, but is it like a different vibe, is it, compared to when you've got the kids there and then you've got families or different organizations there as well?
Yeah, it is a different vibe. Not worse, not better at all. But yeah, it is different, and you have to adjust a little bit. But for us, I found we probably had a bit more free time, a bit more freedom, because obviously they then have their own schedule as well. So it was good. It was nice.
How long was yours?
Post camp, it was 2 weeks. So
2 weeks, yeah.
They were each 1 week long.
Yeah, and for that, was that the same as ours, where you could get paid a little extra if you work that, and essentially a bit of travel money as well, is it?
Exactly, yeah. So we got a bit more money, and also I not even signed up to it. I guess I just asked my camp director, but again, that was something that was just discussed during the summer. Like, I didn't know I was going to do that before I went out there, nothing like that. So that was just something that came up, and I took did the opportunity, because I thought I've got time afterwards anyway, more money, better for me.
And give it a go,
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the word opportunity as well, because everyone's kind of said that's what summer camp's about, isn't it? It's you're not kind of forced into doing after camp or family camp or different activities, but the opportunity's there, isn't it, if you want to try new things?
Exactly. And that I did try more new things, I say, in that week, because we had a bit more time. Like, we could get involved with the activities a little bit more, so you could go and do different things at camp. But yeah, if you've got the opportunity, do it. Just like pre-camp as well, like before camp, another opportunity. That was fun.
That's it. And it's the same like when it comes to planning your sort of travels after camp, isn't it? Because you do then have that opportunity and that freedom to kind of do whatever you want, essentially. So going on to that, first year that you said you traveled, didn't you, after camp? What was your itinerary? Where did you go? Or
so we hired, I can't remember what they're called, but one of the camper vans that they've painted, like, it's a company in America, and they've painted all these camper vans. Crazy.
It's kind of like how, like, in Australia as well, they have that as well. Yeah.
So we had a massive eyeball on the side of our camper van.
No one's missing you.
Exactly. You could not miss us. But they had some funky designs. But we picked that up in Boston, drove to New York, Washington, DC, and stopped in Philly as well. And then we flew out to the west. Actually, I'm wrong. The camper van was just in the west.
Okay.
So we drove, got buses on the East Coast. We flew to California.
Nice.
Picked up the van, drove down to San Diego, and then we kind of did a loop. So Grand Canyon, Yosemite, Death Valley. That was really scary though in this camper van.
I can imagine,
because it's like so hot. It was literally just slowing. I was driving and it was just getting slower. So I was like, guys, this is gonna die. They were like, we've got to get out of here. I was like, I know, but this is gonna die.
We haven't stocked up on the water or
literally
anything,
but it was going 20 miles an hour, and then it was 10. It was going
crazy.
That slowly. It was going that slowly. It was just because of the heat with the engine. But we got out, we got to Yosemite, so it was fine. But
you've made it back.
And then we came down the the coastal highway. It was stunning. So then, like, Santa Barbara, Santa Monica, that was like 10 to 12 days, I think, that we did that amazing. For. Just stayed in campsite, stayed in the van, like you could sleep in it. So we did that, and then Vegas was in there, obviously.
You've got to be done, isn't it?
Has to be done. And then, I then flew into Colorado, stayed with one of my camp friends for a couple of days. This is when I'm filling time before my flight home.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then, flew back to Boston and home. So
you've got
jam-packed.
a serious itinerary there as well.
Yeah.
It's funny you mention about when you go and see like camp friends and stuff like that, because so many people underestimate how many people you'll meet, don't you? And then before you know it, people are like, oh yeah, well, I'm going back to college in so and so, come and visit me there. And
Exactly.
like, you get mad stories, don't you, by going to all these different places just from people you've met this summer.
Right, exactly. So when you're traveling, like it might be your international friends, but also your American friends, your Canadian friends that you meet at camp. Like they might be, come to my house, like come see me at college.
Yeah.
It's free accommodation,
Yeah.
but also you get to see like not the touristy side, I guess. Like you get to be with a local, which is always like a great idea.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
And one I skipped over, and you kind of touched a bit on then, is just around like budgeting and stuff like that. So it is always great when you've got people that you know that you can go and visit and stuff. But you also mentioned about the likes of the camper van. Did you kind of do like the hostels and stuff at times? Obviously, stay in the camper van, stay in friends. But how did you look at going about doing it in a budget way? And whilst at camp, how did you budget to kind of make that happen?
When we came down the East Coast, so Boston, New York, Washington, they were all hostels, which is a great way to save money, but also you still with your friends. Like if there's enough of you, you can get rooms all by yourself anyway. So that was really handy. And then during the summer, we got paid pretty regularly, like every 2 weeks. So I would just save money from that every time. But I also, knowing I'm going to stay for 30 days when I book my flights, I'd saved some money before I went out there. So I had that as well. So I had a bit of both, which was super handy. Just as like a little safety net.
Like a backup type
exactly.
of thing,
Like I knew I'd have enough if I saved from camp, but you know, days off happen, you spend money. So
you go to Walmart.
Exactly. You go to Target, game over.
Target. No one's mentioned Target either, actually.
How?
Thinking about like everyone, whenever we chat about this, and everyone's always like, oh yeah, we'll go to Walmart because you can get absolutely everything. I forgot Target as well.
Target's the best place.
Thinking back now, yeah, you go a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing. When you come to actually being at camp, you realize, look, there's always going to be little things where you'll spend a bit of money here, spend a bit of money there. And it can be very easy to just kind of get lost in all that at times. But would you say at one point decide a bit of a plan for your budget? Because let's be honest, the more you've got for after camp as well, the more that you can enjoy with it.
Definitely. And I think knowing like roughly how long you want to stay for, that's helpful as well.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think ahead a little bit, because you don't want to spend all your money during the summer and then you can't do a tour at Yosemite, or you can't do something at the Grand Canyon or wherever you might be traveling that then is like once in a lifetime, or you're not just going to be there, you know, all the time.
Exactly.
So if you can think ahead a little bit, I think it would be good.
And that's an interesting one that you mentioned as well in regards to tours and everything. So especially from my side, it did kind of split quite equally down the middle, that a lot of people would kind of go solo traveling, where they just go, I want to have my own adventure, which by the way, that is totally cool as well. In fact, even more kudos, because that freedom's incredible. But then you kind of had half that kind of go in a group as well. Was that kind of similar to yours, where some people would go on their own, but some would kind of marry together essentially?
Yeah, and also we had people that would have friends fly over from the UK or their boyfriends or whoever, so they would then meet them and go off, or even they would just join a bigger group of camp friends as well. So yeah, we had like extra people come over like after camp, like that was really common as well.
In fact, completely forgot about that happened quite a lot in ours, where even two friends who went to work at different camps then met afterwards and done all their travels.
So, like super easy to do. And like camp friends, they all blend as well, you know, groups will blend really easily, so I wouldn't be worried about that either.
And there tends to be very common routes when everyone finishes sort of mid-August onwards, something like that. The amount of times where I'll be traveling and then you could you just, I don't know how, but you just knew when someone had done summer camp already.
You knew.
Yeah, like, but everyone was absolutely buzzing, but had that tired look in their eyes where they're like, I need this beach.
Yeah,
This
or
is where I
like
need
the
to
camp
go.
t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, the
Everyone
tourist
will-
t-shirts.
Everyone will have a camp t-shirt, won't they?
Yep, exactly. And then like Nike shorts and Birks or whatever
That's
it was,
it.
like the classic camp outfit, you knew.
I was going to say we had the chat. Who was it with about summer camp style and stuff as well, and it is a thing, isn't it? But then
Exactly.
you can point people out from a mile away when they're on their tours and everything.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to mention when you said about tours, probably asking you to have your Camp Canada hat back on now
Yeah.
and everything, is that a lot of people also look at booking tours just because there's less stress. It's done for you. You have your transport, your accommodation, you have all the cool stuff involved, and you have a tour leader as well. So you have that level of security. Is that something that through Camp Canada you could potentially book tours and everything like that?
Yeah, definitely. So we've partnered with a company called Contiki
Yep.
that do tours all over Canada, and then Moose Travels as well, which is focused out west.
Brilliant.
So there's definitely lots of options there, and I think they're a great idea, to be fair. Like you said, everything's done for you. It's all planned. Like you don't need to worry. You get multiple stops, so you see
a load.
You see loads, exactly, and then just no stress. And also, I think as well, it'd be a great way to meet more people. Like again, you've made loads of friends at camp, but why not just go make loads of more friends through traveling? Because you would, you know, you're together like all day for 7-10 days. Like
Definitely.
it would be great.
Do you know what? Looking back, I was thinking, because I haven't done one of the tours. I've previously done group tours, and I'm a big advocate for it.
Yeah.
I've worked for group tour providers and stuff, and I absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
Because you're getting loads of like-minded people who are kind of jumping onto the same thing.
Yeah.
And especially with the departure dates, sort of August type of time, September, it is just loads of summer camp people as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had friends do them and they've absolutely loved them.
For sure.
Like they've loved them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're great.
Cool thing as well with Contiki and Moose, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's 10% discount as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So there's
Saves more money.
Well, there you go. And it actually does make a difference as well, because
Definitely.
there's so many different durations of kind of tours and destination start and end points that 10% can end up being a nice chunk, can't it?
Exactly. And then that's like spending money on your
Fun
tour.
tokens.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, similar from a camp leader's perspective as well. We've got the Coyote Trip, a very, very sort of similar thing. Great group there that run tours across all of America. 10% off for camp leaders applicants as well. So definitely worth kind of looking into that, isn't it? If people
100%.
after camp want to do it
Yeah.
through a company.
Yeah. And I think even if you want to do it by yourself, I remember looking at some of these places just to get an idea of, well, what route do they do?
Yeah.
What places do they visit? So if you are like unsure, I would say just like Google what trips there are anyway, because
Absolutely.
it's great inspiration.
I also think on that one as well, that is a really good shout, because there are so many different routes that people can do. Like, again, you look at America and people go, oh, they think Route 66 and stuff. But some people might want to take a bit of a different approach because they'd like to see a certain state and stuff, don't they? So it's kind of like, yeah, check these out and see what works for you, because you never know what you might find.
Exactly.
So that's definitely one. Cool. So that was your first year when you got to see everything, done a lot of the big sites and stuff. Second year onwards, when you knew a bit more about America, you'd kind of done a lot of the big tourist ones already. What was your itinerary for second year? Kind of what was your thinking? How did you plan it? What made you want to go for these things?
So my second year, we ended up driving again. Driving's just, I mean, A, it's super easy in America, and B, it's the best way to see things as well. Like,
what were you, sorry to interrupt, what were you like driving on the other side of the road for people that haven't done it before? I was terrified the first time.
I was a little bit nervous, but I loved it actually, because we drove automatic, so that was easier than here. But it was okay. To be honest, not even the worst, the hardest bit was when you had a van full of campers in the back singing. That was the hard part. But driving like after camp, it was fun, you know,
it's like a go-kart.
Literally. And also the roads are just straight.
Yeah.
Like it's easy. Like compared to here. So honestly, it was fine. If anyone was nervous about driving in America, like I wouldn't be. Like it's really fine. Renting cars super easy as well. So that was really really easy. So we picked up a car in Maine, drove it all the way down to Miami. So we're talking the whole of the East Coast this time.
How long did that take?
So we did it in 7 days.
Wow.
So I mean, if I did it again, I'd probably go a bit longer. But yeah, 7 days. So we went Washington, D.C., North Carolina, South Carolina, and then down to Miami, Florida. And then we also went down into the Keys in Miami, which are stunning. They're literally like a different country. I mean, every state, to be honest, could be a different country.
For sure.
But that was when I did post camp as well. So I had a little bit extra time to just figure it out, plan it out. So I then looked for like Airbnbs or hostels in every place, and then planned it all out, and then we went for it.
Nice.
And it was really great fun.
Definitely. I was going to say that was second year. So you earned slightly more in second year as well.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of extra budget to be able to upgrade from the hostels to the hotel every now and again.
Exactly, yeah. And like we stayed in, decent places. We went out, we did cool stuff that, like in Miami and Florida, we went to some of the places. We went to a park, one of the parks in Florida. So yeah, it was like, what can we do different this year as well from the first year? So seeing a bit more of America,
Yeah, for sure. It's funny when I hear states as well. Like I remember you've just said there about North Carolina, and straight away I was there like, that's Ryan's state, and like it becomes your like thing, like that's your place. Like I was in Wisconsin, so whenever I hear Wisconsin, I'm there like, that's me.
I know everything about this state.
Yeah, like you just kind of have like it's like your home away from home, isn't it? So you have a bit of ownership on it there.
Yeah, and, totally.
That's a cool part about it. So that was second year.
Yeah.
So by the sounds of it there, so first and second year now combined. Sounds like you've seen most of America here. How did you go about what you done after that?
Then I was like, okay, where haven't I been that I want to go to? So
what a cool sentence that is, by the way. Where haven't I been?
I've still got a couple places, to be fair, on that list that I want to tick off in America. But my third year, I went to Zion National Park. That was somewhere where I really wanted to go to. Slight, different place I hadn't been to. Again, driving, seem to love to drive in America, but it's just the easiest way to get around when you're traveling, I found anyway. So we went to Zion, did a few days there, went back to Vegas. It was just Vegas is a great hub, I found, for like traveling to the Grand Canyon, traveling to Zion and different areas around it. There's also a national park not far out of Vegas that I went to, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but something like Red Rock, something like that. That was stunning as well, which was really close by. So yeah, Vegas, great hub for like traveling out of, which we kind of used it as well. So we just kind of focused on national parks, the Grand Canyon. So yeah, that was really great as well. But the places that I haven't been, I want to go to Chicago.
Oh, well, Chicago is incredible. So I was about 3 hours from Chicago. My camp just over the border in Wisconsin. One of my favorite cities.
I need to go.
Sorry,
there.
not trying to rub it in. You've done a lot, which I haven't done. I want to go to those. If you get the chance, really go. It's a fantastic place.
Yeah, that's definitely up on my list. New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't been myself.
I've been as well.
I know a lot of my friends done New Orleans from camp. Like again, one of those sort of journeys where you may go off in one direction, other people go off in the other, and sometimes where you see their Instagram game is looking strong once they've been to these places, and you're there going, oh, should I have done this or done that? But there's so much you can do, isn't there?
Literally, there's actually so many routes you could do, and because all the like internal domestic flights as well, it's so easy to get about. Like you could be West Coast for a week, then come down to the South, go like you could go anywhere super easily. And then Texas, I want to go to Austin, Texas.
I've got the office there.
I know.
I have to fly over.
I know.
I think Ryan's there currently, I think.
Yeah, I think he is. It just looks like a really cool city, but there is so many places, right, that you could go to. So you've just kind of got to pick, okay, which ones should we do?
The priorities.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I suppose that's where the planning and the budgeting can come, and you can start doing that in camp, can't you?
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's always nice to have not go everywhere you want to, and then you've got a reason to go back, right?
I love that. That's a cool sentence.
Yeah.
So don't kind of try to do
Don't do
everything.
everything.
Give yourself a bit, and then make sure you come back to camp year after year.
Exactly. And tick off that bucket list.
So overall, it would be cool to, after kind of everything we've spoken about, and kind of go, you know what, if we could round it up to people and what we would like to say, this is 5 different takeaway points for preparing, budgeting, and actually traveling after camp. What would be your 5 key things?
I think top of the list has to be just don't worry.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll meet people, you'll make friends, you'll figure it out during the summer. Like, just don't worry.
Yeah.
Another one, I mean, the trips, what we just spoke about. Like, if you are unsure, if you just don't want to stress, look into trips, book a trip. You can save money. Yeah. Like, they're a great shout. Make sure, if you can, think ahead a little bit, you know, save some money as you go through, or save some money before you go out there as well to help pay for that. What else would I say, if anything? Post camp, if you can, ask about it as well. Like, even if like you haven't heard about it, just go ask a camp director, go ask someone at camp if they do it, because they might, you know, not even have thought about it yet or planned it yet. But if you can get involved, like, you know, be proactive, go ask them, and then if you've got the opportunity, go for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, just whilst I remember on that one with post camp there, can anyone do it? But a few questions around. No one's forced into doing it. If you have to leave at a certain time, you absolutely can. But again, opportunity, if it's there, if you want to. Totally.
Like I said, I didn't even know about it till halfway through summer, and then I was like, yeah, I'll do it. There was no like, you have to do it. It was never in a contract. It's like, I got another contract for it for the 2 weeks. So it was like official, but beforehand, like, no, like, it was just
amazing.
Yeah.
You got that chance to do it.
Exactly.
Cool. So that was don't worry, prepare, budget, post camp,
and tours.
So if you've got the chance, go for the tours, have a look at them, or at very least check the websites out for a bit of inspiration.
Exactly.
Amazing. Well, first off, Lizzie, thanks very much for joining us. It's been a cool little
fun.
chat. Yeah, nice. If anyone's interested in Camp Canada, where do they go? Just straight to Camp Canada website, search on Google.
Exactly, campcanada.co.uk.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much again.
Thanks.
And yeah, I'll have to do another chat soon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing. Cheers. Thanks for watching the Camp Leaders podcast. If you enjoyed it, pop us a like and be sure to follow and subscribe for more of the same.